3.5 hours into trading. It is Wednesday, September 15th. Hello, traders. Really exciting day for us today. Great move in the market. I did a video last night where I just spent time on market analysis, context, reading price movement, using the 1OP indicator. Please make sure to watch that video. It's an hour and 15 minutes long. It is comprehensive. You'll learn so much on how to day trade the S&P 500, and I'm going to show you exactly how all of that information came into play today. I made a killing trading the S&P 500 today, and I'm going to show you the play-by-play. I'm going to show you the timestamps from my chat room. This actually happened. So let's start with the market. Context, context, context. S&P 500, super strong uptrend here. You can see very long-term uptrend drawn right here. Came into play right about where the market had closed yesterday. We also have a more shallow upward sloping trend line. This one I personally would lean on a little bit more, but you can see the 50-day moving average is right between these two, and every time that 50-day moving average has been tested, we get a bounce. So buyers love to buy dips. They wait for these dips to come in, they wait for that support to be formed, they're looking for major technical areas like this to buy on. So let's go into a normal view of the daily chart. We also know that the market has had a tendency to gap higher and sell off. Gap higher, sell off. These are gap reversals. We've seen 4 of them in a row right now, 3 of them actually, but sellers have been in control. Look where that long-term trend line came into play, right here on the low today. So as the day was forming, we didn't really know what to expect because we've seen a lot of selling and a lot of market weakness. This was the start of the day right here. This was the price action that we saw yesterday. Look at that big selling. Now I went through all the price patterns in the video that I posted yesterday, and I described some of the different formations that we're looking at. So here's how today's set up. We get this gap higher. No surprise. Long red candle closing on its low, followed by another long red candle closing on its low. Well, anybody that's been paying attention the last 3 days has known that this is a gap reversal in the making. And shorts are getting pretty excited because for the first time in a very long time, we've had some actual selling pressure, and we've seen late day selling pressure. So we get these 2 bars in here. I did not trade it as I described in the video last night. I typically do not trade the first half hour. I want to watch the market action unfold. So we've got this bullish 1OP cross right in here from yesterday. Everything is looking good. You get these 2 long red candles, still not down to the low from the previous day. And then we get this long green candle right off of the low. Sorry about that. We get this long green candle here right off of the low, and then we get this explosive long green candle. What really can I glean from that information? There's not much that I can get from it except the fact that we've got short sellers very excited in here that this is going to be a gap reversal and that finally we're going to break that long-term uptrend on the SPY and we're going to get something going on the downside. So anybody who jumped on that short early in the day had their head handed to them. But not so fast. We're not off to the races here. We get this retracement here. Didn't quite get back to the halfway point of this long green candle. We challenge the high. We back off of it quickly. Now we've got a mix of green and red candles in here. Pretty long candles also. That tells me I'm doing nothing in here because there's no market direction. I don't know what it's going to do. It could come down. It could take out this low. It could take out the long-term uptrend line. Don't really know at this point. But we do have a couple of tails under body here. So this seems to be a nice little support level that's forming. And as time elapses, we can see that this support level is starting to gain some traction. Now, I had mentioned in the chat room, so let me put this up for you. These are my comments an hour after the open, 9:27 Central Time. Lots of support, major SPY D1 uptrend line. I won't short until we crack it. It's just not worth it. There's not enough downside for me, and the risk of a big bounce off of that low makes it a poor trading decision. So if we do take it out, fantastic. We'll probably test the 50-day moving average. If we take it out early in the day, there's a good chance that that 50-day moving average will fail and we may test that other upward sloping trend line. So these are my early market comments that I'm posting. Now, as time elapses, I start to get a better feel. And here you can see this is at 9:50. So this is an hour and 20 minutes after the open. Now it looks like a bullish divergence is forming. And I mentioned what a bullish divergence on 10p is. Typically, when you have 10p, my proprietary indicator in Option Stalker, when it's rising, you would expect the market to rise. Okay, it did. Now we've got a bearish cross right in here. You would expect the market to be falling, falling, falling along with the 10p indicator. But look what happened. We didn't fall. We started to compress. And my take on this is that you've got so many bears out there and so many short sellers that they're trying to push the market down, down, down. But this bounce off of the low that we saw today is actually holding. If this were just a head fake bounce, what you would have seen is you would have seen on this 10p drop, you would have seen the market coming down, coming down, coming down, and testing that low of the day. When it did not, and when we started to compress here, this is where I said, hey, folks, right about in here, I said, you know, this is looking like we have a bullish divergence. Now, a divergence is when the indicator is going down and the market is flat to higher. So you get a little bit of a bullish cross in here. The market's still kind of waffling around. And then up in here, we're getting pretty close to the high of the day. Right in here, we start to see the 10p indicator cross down and make an even deeper low. Now, we do not take these bullish crosses on 10p until we have technical confirmation. And so as I'm seeing this unfold right here, I'm waiting to see what does the market do? Well, now we've actually gone up to the high of the day and we're compressing at the high of the day. All of this pressure, this 10p indicator is showing us that the market should be moving lower, but it's not. When I saw this, I started to scale in a big way, and I started to get long futures. So, and I built quite a large position with every tick that was unfolding. I felt more and more confident that we were going to be taking out the high of the day right here. So what I'm going to do is put my chat room back up because I want to prove to you that this was actually happening. We don't have a strong trend, which is normally when we'd be looking for these bullish divergences, but we do have a compression off the low, gains off the low a day, been able to hold everything that I've just explained to you, so I'm going to keep going down. Still not enough for me to buy futures. Want to see that bearish 10p cycle complete. Price action would be enough here. Mentioned yesterday, Goldman Sachs. That was a short that I had highlighted yesterday. It was seeing some weakness today. Bullish 10p cross pending in the next bar or two. Long SPY 445.10 was my entry price. I actually trade futures, but I reference the SPY because everyone has that data. Not everyone has futures data. That was an hour and 94 minutes into the open, 10:04 Central Time. So I'm going to continue to go down. I was early on it. And I'm going to continue to scroll down because I continue to give commentary. There I scratched my SPY trade, but I was right back in building it again. Ready to buy SPY. So now another 17 minutes have elapsed. Long SPY 445.30, and this is almost 2 hours in. Not quite. And now I'm sticking with the position because I'm actually quite content with what I see the market doing as it's unfolding. And I'm going to continue to scroll down because I'm scaling in, scaling in, scaling in. There's the cross back down. SPY is still able to stay right at the high of the day, so it's compressing right at the high of the day. This is confirming the bullish divergence. Still looking to buy SPY, so I'm still scaling in. I'm expecting it to go higher. And now I'm going to continue to go down, and you will see still feel we go higher. So now we're almost 2.5 hours into trading. Sellers have tried to dunk the market. They haven't been able to. The bounce has been able to hold. We've got the long upward sloping trend line. We know that buyers on a longer term basis have been super aggressive on these dips. They're looking for any signs of support. Got that trend line, 50-day moving average just below it. This would be a good entry point for them, but they are going to wait for that confirmation, for that support to materialize. And if we can get through, this is the pattern I'm looking for. Long green candle, followed by another long green candle. And then finally, you can see I give my members a play-by-play on the market. That's what I do because the market sets the backdrop for all the day trading that we do. If I like the market, we're trading stocks with relative strength. Yes, I do trade the S&P 500. I also trade stocks. And there we get the breakout. And I know I had mentioned in here, but I can't seem to find it, that I was aggressively long and I kept scaling in and scaling in. So I'm trying to find that comment because I know that I bolded it. I can't find it offhand, but I was wanting members to know I think this is going to be a big move higher, and that is why I am aggressively long. So I'm sorry that I can't find it offhand, but in any event, I was long, I was giving a play-by-play, and now let's take a look at what unfolded so that you can understand how all of this comes together. Sorry, still not able to find it, but we've got to let that pass. So how did the table get set for all this? So here we've got our next leg down of the 10P indicator. There we've got our bullish cross right in there. And you can see the market is still chopping around. What I wanted was I wanted it to stay very close to this high of the day. I did not want to meander very far from it because if we did, then there was a good chance that we would continue to drift lower. There is our M5 upward sloping trend line that I had drawn. That is an alert line. And now we're starting to poke through. There's my long green candle. I'd mentioned I want to see all of this preserved. I don't want a lot of retracement. I want to see another long green candle. Now, I mentioned this in yesterday's video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have sellers lined up here because what do traders do? They try to sell so that they can keep a tight stop because you want to keep your losses small, but you want to have lots of outside potential. So if I'm shorting here, I've got lots of potential. If the market falls back down and tests the low of the day, I have very limited risk here, but I have lots of potential. Programs know this, institutions know this, and they know that they can force a short covering squeeze in here if they tick through. And this would be a head fake if you got the next candle was a bearish engulfing candle, or if it was a bearish hammer, or if it retraced half of that long green candle followed by another red candle, then it would simply be a trigger for buy stops. People are short, they place a buy stop at the high of the day. Now, the legitimate moves and what I was looking for is that conviction on the part of buyers. So remember, tested the low, came off the low, this bounce held. They could not nail the market, and there has been a tendency to see gap reversals. We know that there has been selling pressure, but tails under body, support holding here, 1OP dropping. Bullish divergence setting up. Get a nice little rally. Now we nudge closer to the high and we get another leg lower. Now, if I didn't have the 1OP indicator, I would have suspected that, hey, you know what? I don't know that I have the guts to buy this breakout or to even look for it, because there's a good chance, given the selling pressure that we've seen the last few days, that this thing is going to just reverse right away and we're going to fall back into the range. In fact, because that would lure in some bullish speculators, we might even fail and then sink way down. But because I had seen this bullish divergence, it told me that the trend strength was incredibly strong. So I'm scaling in, scaling in, scaling in, and then we get the breakout. Now what I want to see, not ideal, but I would accept the doji closing right at the high of this candle. That would be okay, because it tells me that these gains in this breakout has been preserved. If it was simply a head fake, it would all be erased, and then I'd have to be very careful. So a doji here would be fine, followed by a long green candle. So I've got my bullish 1OP cross right here, right in here. Let's see what happens. Oh, now I'm liking that. I'm getting pretty excited because we have follow through to this candle. If this were just a head fake to squeeze shorts, we would have seen a red candle in here, but we didn't. We saw a green candle. And as I mentioned, buyers are excited. They're super anxious. They want to buy these dips. And this one happens to come into play on a longer term uptrend line on a daily chart. Plus, anybody who's been very happy to see some selling pressure, finally, anybody who knows that September is a weak month and who has been aggressively shorting, is starting to get worried, especially after that bar. Now, in yesterday's video, I also mentioned strong technical patterns. 3 long green candles closing on their high, stacked. Please make sure to watch that video. Very, very informative. This means that there's hardly any overlap to these candles right here. That is super, super strong. So we know this move is likely to continue. Oh, yeah. This is where I took profits on the move. I saw us back off the high a little bit. I am not going to leave 20 S&P points on the table. I actually don't even know what's happened since I've started recording, but if I had to guess, I think we're going to keep moving higher. But I've got 1OP very overextended. I'd like to see how this bearish cross plays out. I suspect that because we had a bullish divergence, it confirms trend strength, that this is going to lead to a small cross here, and then we're going to get another upward cross, and that'll fuel the next leg of the rally. So let's take a look at, yeah, see, that's what's happened. But we're starting to get some mixed candles in here. So that tells me that the trend strength is starting to soften just a little bit. That's how we trade the S&P 500. That's how the 1OP indicator works. The market sets the backdrop for all of our trading. And when we know that the market's going to be breaking out like this, what I could have been doing here, here, I didn't have to be trading the S&P 500 because I was seeing a bullish divergence setup. I could have been going in and I could have been trading super strong stocks that were popping up on our heavy buying list, on our relative strength 30 list. Let's take a look at some of these, and let's go into a 5-minute chart. Let's take a look at Adobe. And so while the market is compressing, you'd have been looking at a stock like this, and then there's your release. Very little downside on it, but I want better than that. Here's what I would be looking for. Up, 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 up. The whole day, just up. Even when the market was compressing here, we actually did have a pretty decent little pullback in here. So I'm going to go into my red hot list. These should be the strongest stocks. Oh yeah, That's perfect. So there you've got Google sitting, waiting for that market breakout. Let's put that SPY overlay up. So as the market is compressing and compressing in here, it still hasn't broken out here, but look at Google. Google has actually broken through this horizontal resistance, and then it's off to the races. BNTX, pretty decent. Adobe was on the list. Microsoft. Microsoft is my stock of the day. I really like it. And here you can see gap up. Nice support in here. Market coming up to its high of the day, the gray line. Microsoft able to hold that support. Once the market goes, Microsoft lifts off. Here's what I like about Microsoft, and here's why it's my bullish pick of the day. You can see here that we had this really nice breakout and this nice rally to a new high. That is a bullish flag formation. Draw your downward sloping trend line. Gap higher yesterday. Nice. I'd mentioned that in the chat room. So we've got these alert lines drawn this morning. On the open, Microsoft is through that bullish flag, downward sloping trend line. It is likely to take out the high. Love Microsoft. That is the pick of the day. That was right off the top of our heavy buying list early this morning. It's still up there, IRNT. Man, oh man, we've had a ton of traders in this one making a mint on it as well. Watch for the S&P to continue to move higher. So here's what I'm looking for personally. I'd like some compression near the high of the day. I'd like to see this 1OP indicator drop with a bullish cross. So let's look at it right now. What is it telling me right now? 1OP, bearish cross. 1OP, down, 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 down. Market doing what? Up, up, up. This is a bullish divergence setting up right here. We go higher today, folks. Got a couple of red candles in here. I think we need to consolidate some of these gains. But when I get that bullish 1OP cross right here, I'm back in trading futures. I hope this information has been of help to you. Please leave your comments. I'll answer all your questions related to trading. Market first, market first, market first. That's why I did the video last night. Really excellent content. A portion of it is dedicated to the 1OP indicator and how it works and how it confirms everything that we're doing. But much of it was based on price action and context. So even if you don't subscribe to Option Stalker, I still feel that that information will be super valuable to you. Thank you. Good luck with your trading. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.